Almost 70% of funds expected to be used for a sanitation project in Ghana is paid as a consultation fee to a foreign company.
Mr. Minister, sometimes when people listen to us, I wonder how they feel. If we come and sit at a public hearing like this and say that one of the things that people did for us was to come and tell us that we should revamp our equipment situation, I wonder why a consultant should come from Netherlands to come and tell our district assemblies that the equipment that are broken down must be repaired. And that we pay him huge sums of money for coming to tell us that go. And we approve, yes, we approve the law. And then we.
Now, how did this happen? We're seeking answers right here on today's big story. Now, members of the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament have expressed disgust at findings that some metropolitan and municipal assemblies have directed a large chunk of money meant for sanitation into consultancy services. Now, this is under the second urban environmental project. The heads in Accra, Kumasi, Sekondi, Takoradi and Tamale municipalities have been asked to justify the expenditure for almost $100 million, which was spent on consultancy. The money was granted them under the second urban environmental sanitation project, and the money was to be channeled into a number of priority areas that include drainage, community upgrading, sanitation, and also to strengthen the various assemblies.
From storm drain, we benefited from an upgrading, community upgrading. And if you go to Tamale now and you know the Abu market, you look on your right when you're going towards the Abu market, it was a slum sort of community. But as a result of...
But the committee that sat today looked at how funds meant to have been used to undertake the second urban environmental project was utilized. But at the sitting, the Deputy Local Government Minister, Baba Jamal, explained that the funding agencies appointed their own consultants for the project. The government said it had therefore no choice but to pay the consultants in foreign currencies. Parliamentarians did not find the answer explanatory enough.
The issue, when you look at it by considering both the resource and expenditure statement, alongside with the assets and liabilities, that is where you see the seriousness of the problem. Mr. Chairman, Tamale, yes, I'm making reference to their balance, the accounts. If you look at the notes, we are told that non-capital expenditure is made up of consultant services, studies and training, and then operating costs. Now look at table 52. Table 52 on page 129. We are told that non-capital expenditure for 2010 was 973,729, which means this is the amount that has been spent and is being amortized. So even the 157 is an amortized component. So it's worse. It means that the whole money is being consumed in consultancy, studies, and training. Could you explain why we have so much?
You and I, in the public spotlight, we were not there. But on a more serious note, Mr. Minister, sometimes when people listen to us, I wonder how they feel. If we come and sit at a public hearing like this and say that one of the things that people did for us was to come and tell us that we should revamp our equipment situation, I wonder why a consultant should come from Netherlands to come and tell our district assemblies that the equipment that are broken down must be repaired. And that we pay him huge sums of money for coming to tell us that go. And we approve, yes, we approve the law. And then we approve the loan for them to come and tell us that, Massa, your broken down vehicle must be repaired. I think that sometimes it gives such a bad opinion of us. And I think that the earlier, and I agree with you, that we should begin to look at these things. And also the technical people. Half the time or almost all the time, you bring the loans to Parliament. And you come and you rush it through. So we don't even have enough time to look at it. But you, from day one, looking at the economy, you should also be advising.
Next time in Parliament, should we approve such a loan? Or shouldn't we approve such a loan? And for me, that is why I think it's very good that we are here to discuss this. Then when we are writing our report, we can tell Parliament that next time we should be guarded against such a loan when it appears. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Right, and the Minister of Local Government and Rural Development and managers of the project tried to explain why such a colossal amount of money was paid to the consultants.
Under the project arrangement, like I mentioned earlier on, the NDF fund of €9 million was mainly for institutional strengthening. And NDF, through collaboration with Ghana government, came out with the selection of a consultant, and that consultant should come from Netherlands, and that consultant was based within the project unit, and so he's being paid directly from the project which we have signed, and that consultancy services for that consultant is paid from the project directly. Now, a part of their duty was to assess the capacity of the assemblies in areas of financial management, in areas of management in general, just to improve the assembly's own capacity to generate funds and to give them the necessary equipment such that they will be able to function on their own. So they were supposed to assess the assembly capacity. They have experts in IT who will look at the assembly capacity. They produce networking, how to relate to each other, how to create opportunities, how to do billing, how to do property rating. All those consultancies were sub-consultancy services that were engaged through the main consultant, which we call HIFAP. And HIFAP was based at the central unit. And through their activity, they are supposed to select some consultants from the various MAs, and they will undertake those services. The services, as you may see, they may not be tangible, as you may see, but they perform analysis and submit their reports. So we have separate consultancy services for financial management analysis. They have their report and their recommendation. Issue of recruitment, they came out with the recommendation that the assembly's equipment should be revamped, for which reason all broken down equipment in the MAs has to be repaired, brought to a level. Instead of buying new ones, we need to repair all broken down equipment within the MAs, bulldozers, graders.
And that was the attempt to explain exactly why that amount of money was paid to consultants. But again, how did the project benefit Ghana? How beneficial was this second urban environmental project? Let's listen.
We didn't benefit from storm drain. We benefited from an upgrading, community upgrading. And if you go to Tamale now and you know the Abu market, you look on your right when you're going towards the Abu market, it was a slum sort of community. But as a result of this project, the roads, the sanitation, everything was done. And the value of the lands as at now is very, very high. Most of the houses have been turned into shops. Those who know Tamale know that the Metro Mass Transit was located in the Sablugu terminal. OA bus terminal was also in the Sablugu bus terminal.
Very specific what you are saying. We want you to tell us improvement. For example, household, we have improved toiletry in 60 houses, 100 houses. Then we can verify. For example, the revenue improvement, we used to earn our revenue 20 million, now it's 40 million. Then we can verify. These are type of improvement we expected from you. Then when you come to the sanitation around Ababu, I'm sure you know Ababu market is still the same. It has not even improved when you know Ababu market in Tamale.
Specifics. So if you think that you want to go into these details, you can give us another time to appear and those details can be approved. But for now, immediately, it may be difficult to give you those details.
I think I will take your plea and request that you request your directors to give us impact assessment on this project. It has come.
But the Deputy Local Government Minister further sought to explain perhaps some of the issues raised at a sitting.
From the explanation given, and as we all know, part of the problem of this country, which we are all trying to avoid, is where when loans and grants are given, it comes with conditionalities and packages. So you are supposed to purchase from here, you are supposed to take the consultant from here, and the consultant sometimes will be paid directly, and then you don't have control over those things. So I agree with the honourable member that there is a rise, but clearly it is due to some of this, because like he explained, the main consultant is from Holland. He is supposed to be paid directly from there. They will be looking at the conditions that exist in their countries and put it up here for us. It is a situation that we don't all accept, or we don't think that is the right thing. So the honourable members are right that there have been some rise, but clearly that will be out of our control. So, but it's not only consultancy, it has to do with some studies as well for our local people. It has to also do with training. So when you are talking about equipment, it has to go with training. When you are talking about anything that goes with it, it has to go with training. So generally, we agree with you that there has been a rise, but it's something that all of us should look out for, and this is something that the ministry is now very, very strict about and ensures that some conditionalities that are avoidable are avoided.
Right, thanks so much for staying there. And I have in the studio two gentlemen. Kingsley Abuaji Jedu is a member of parliament for Bibiani and Nyasu Bekwai constituency, and George Osei is the project engineer, Minister of Local Government Project Unit. And welcome to the studios.
Thank you.
And thanks so much. Let me come to you, a member of the Parliament Public Accounts Committee. Now, I'm sure this might have come to you as a big surprise.
Of course it did, because looking at the quantum of money we have spent, and when you look around, we all live in Accra,
right.
Some live in Kumasi, Tema, Takoradi, Tamale. And in fact, one day, even one of the project accountants from Tamale tried to explain the impact of the project in Tamale. A sitting member of parliament, and at the same time, even a member of the ruling party disputed it, that the area that you said you have upgraded, it cannot be true, because we all go there every now and then. So where did the money go? What happened to the money? And you see, we are not doing ourselves any good by not spending the money for the purpose for which we get it, because don't forget that this is a loan. And tomorrow, our children and our children's children are going to have to pay for this.
The benefits of the project cannot be seen, some of the benefits.
Yes, in fact, as we stand now, we were told by the project, and I'm happy the project engineer is here.
Right.
The deputy minister assured the country that they are going to come to parliament again with a full report of the project achievement over the period of implementation. But the most significant thing is that if indeed the thing is visible, then they should have been able to tell us there and then.
Let me speak to the project engineer. George, have you seen benefits of the project yet?
In fact, enormous benefits. This project has benefited this country a lot. But let me correct an impression here. It is not true that 70% of the project fund was used for consultancy. I'm sure an impression has been created and the reportage is not entirely true. What is happening?
So can you let us in how much of the project fund went into consultancy?
Less than 8% of the total amount. And you see, the project amount is even about 110 million euro in all from all the three donors. 110 million. So you cannot spend 100 million out of that for consultancy alone. It's not true. The consultancy services, if I break it down, under the IDA, consultancy services spent about 7.4 million out of 62 million.
Right.
7.4. And AFD, we spent 8%, which is about 1.8 million euro out of 25 million euro. And with the NDF, which is where the problem is 9 million euro, and the consultancy is about 5 million euro, because NDF...
That's about 50%.
Yes, that is where the consultants came directly from Netherlands. So it's about the 9 million euro. but the bulk of the value of the project,
right,
about 8%, in totality, 8% goes to consultancy. It is not.
We'll leave the figures out, but you said the project has benefited
a lot.
The country.
Yes.
The Public Accounts Committee is not on the same path with you.
Yes, the project has 5 components: storm drainage, and as we speak now, we have lined 6 kilometers of storm drainage, Abu drain in Kumasi. So the flood that we used to have is no longer there. In Accra here, we did the Odo drain, and that also took us about 2.4 million kilometers.
And the Odo drain is still choked.
It's choked because after the project, there should be some maintenance that should be done. It is choked with debris and filth. So we just dump directly into them. So the project has effect in that we have constructed a well-lined drain. Then if we change our attitude or we do some further education, we still have our benefit online.
Yeah, it is not covered under the project. It's ensuring that the project you have done is beneficial.
During the project life, we did all the maintenance. The job was contracted by a contractor and had a maintenance period. So during the maintenance period, it was well maintained and it actually alleviated flood over the project life.
All right, so, go ahead. You are telling me more of the benefits.
Yes, and when it comes to sanitation, we have about 8,500 household toilets, individuals. And they have it, and we have 36 public toilets also constructed, 139 school toilets in all the 5 cities for the schools. We have landfill sites in Tema, and that is what is serving Accra and Tema. And then we have landfill site also constructed, an engineered one in Kumasi. We have one also built in Sekendi, Takrady. We built landfill equipment for them, and we also construct significantly community upgrading in about almost all the cities. For instance, in Accra, we did Alajo, Abekawa Yome. So if you see Alajo, all the roads, the network, if you see it, it is under this project. If you go to Kumasi, we have Old Tafo and Aija. So all the road network in Aija and Old Tafo, the drains that have been done, all the waste dumping areas were all under the project. Secondly, Takrady, we were at Kwesimintim and Kojokrum. And in Tamale, let me mention, the names are a little difficult. Teshigu, Maibi, Nyasigu, Bele Pala, and Boliyafo, Abuabu Ward 1. And in Tama, we have East Ashaman and Pole.
All these are projects that
These are all the projects.
So why is the PAC then claiming that? Yeah, yet to see anything.
The thing is, this is supposed to be on paper. One, it wasn't brought to us as a committee.
Right.
Two, people who know the area, there's very specific area that I've said already, that the member, the project officer mentioned, disputed it.
That there's nothing there.
That there's nothing, no development it's visible.
George, all these projects are completed.
All these projects are completed. All the places
are completed.
In fact, if you come to Accra and you can drive through Alajo and Abeka, all the roads that you pass through is not considered by Ghana Highway Authority. They were all under the project. So the issue now is that the Public Account Committee raised specific questions regarding audit report.
We'll come to that. So are you satisfied that these projects mentioned are completed, or the PAC would want to go ahead perhaps and find ways of ascertaining if these projects are indeed completed?
Thank you very much. I think we gave a specific instruction that we want to see a report of the completed project, and if necessary, we will do our own independent verification to be sure that what the report is saying is true. Because this is a project engineer who actually was involved in the execution of the project and is giving us these figures. And the irony is that these figures is being given to us at the studio here.
Right.
In the parliament, it wasn't given to us.
You mean during the PAC sittings, you did not have the benefit of these projects?
Not at all. Not at all. In fact, the gentleman who tried to explain it was just saying by word of mouth. And as a house of record, we cannot go by somebody's word. So we need a full report, which my chairman has instructed the project union to submit to the house in due course. And then when we review it, normally what we do is we review it, and if we are not satisfied, we will have our own independent team to go to the ground to verify a few of them. Of course, we will go with an engineer to be sure that if they say they've done this, indeed, they've really done it.
George, is there any reason why these projects, whether completed or uncompleted, were not made known to the Public Accounts Committee?
Well, the Public Accounts Committee raised specific queries, and we thought we should answer specifically to those queries. And they were in respect of certain audit reports. And at that moment, we did not know that they need a full report of the project impact and the benefit. As we speak now, we did a beneficiary assessment of the project immediately after we closed in December 2012. And that was submitted to the donors. And as we speak now, we have implementation completion report, a whole report that speaks about the impact of the project, what we said to do and what we have achieved. And so all these reports were available, but because the Public Account Committee did not make specific requests for those ones, we did not make them available. So you were right, they were not there, but the issues were raised, and we have to speak to it orally. But as the request for the details, as my Honorable Minister, Deputy Minister said, all the reports will be made available to them at this moment.
So let me come to you. So according to the project manager, these information, this fact, were not requested by the Public Accounts Committee.
You see, when the public, an audit report must be complete. So when we have received the audit report and want to make queries, we cannot tell you, bring this, bring this, bring this. Of course, not all of us will even understand the project at the time of making the request. So we believe that the onus is on you, the project management, to be sure that you come fully armed. So that whatever question we ask you, you should be able to explain. Because if you want me to be able to request specifically, bring this, bring this, bring this, then I should be part of your project before I can know what exactly went into it. So and this is a note probably, and it's information to the public, the ministry, state department agencies that are going to appear before the Public Accounts Committee. That whenever you are summoned to appear before the Public Accounts Committee, come fully armed. So that any question relating to your project that will come up, you should be able to explain it there and then. Because the difficulty we are going to have is that people who listen to or watch the program today might not be watching in the time you bring the full information. And then half truth will be.
So perhaps that could account for the reason why we're told, or the report trickling in is indicating that about 70% of funding of the project was spent on consultancy.
Definitely, it's part of it. Because all we were told, and indeed, I will side with the gentleman that indeed it wasn't up to 70%, but a big significant proportion of the loan, and don't forget this is a loan, was actually spent on consultancy. The irony and the difficulty is that the consultants are not even from Ghana. Another information that we didn't get is the government's counterpart funding, the part that was financed by government. All we're told is that when you ask about taxes, they say the loan, the agreement is that the loan cannot be used to pay taxes. So government of Ghana was spending its own money to pay the taxes. And indeed, when we finished, in fact, we didn't have enough time, but when we finished, the question that was on the lips of almost everybody was that, so how much the government spend on taxes, not only taxes, the other components that were financed directly by GOG. GOG is government of Ghana. And we are not told, as we stand here, we don't know how much government of Ghana spent on the whole project. And indeed, even in his explanation, he's come out with information that is also important. That how are we going to maintain the facility going forward? That one we don't know.
I see George opening some document. You tried to tell us how much government spent on taxes and other things they had to do.
In totality, the project's completion value was $110 million. Out of which government contribution was $6.6 million. $6 million. About $6.5 million.
That was government contribution in terms of taxes and...
It's a counterpart funding. Counterpart funding. When I say government contribution, it includes the MA's own contribution. You know, the beneficiary assemblies also contributed a portion. And the chunk of it, like high cost values, like the landfill, the assemblies cannot finance the counterpart funding, so that we get it from central government. So we combine central government contribution, the AMA's own contribution, it works out to about $6.5 million out of the 110.
Let's talk about this issue of consultancy services. We're told that the consultants are not even Ghanaians. Is it the norm to have projects like this, having foreign consultants taking so much away from the very money they have given us?
Yes and no. Yes, because in the credit agreement, in some of the credit agreements, they give you some concessionary loans,
right?
And then they define certain conditions and terms that you need to select consultants and you should do international competitive bidding. If you do that and an international person wins, you have no option than to let him come in. And in most cases, they have the capacity, they have the resources, and so when you put them together with our locals, if you don't segregate them, obviously they will have the upper hand. And it is not also true that we have only one consultant. This consultancy fee cut across a number of consultants who undertook various assignments. The NDF component was just one consultant, which was brought in from the Netherlands to handle their part. But the IDA, the AFD, no consultant came from outside. We have local consultants that were actively involved with the MA's contributions, like the toilet and all those things were all done by local consultants. But we just put them together as the value. But all those money doesn't go
to one consultant. I'll come back to you for us to, you have a lot of expertise in project management. But let me go to the Member of Parliament and a member of the Accounts Committee. Now, Parliament passed this, or approved this loan. Did Parliament know that this was how much consultants were to be paid from this loan?
I think normally what happens is that the project, and today I'm happy to say that even the Deputy Minister quoted this issue and expatiated on it. That what normally happens is that when they are designing the project, they design it in such a way that it becomes a conditionality. That we are giving you this money on condition that so and so amount of it will go to consultants from our own home country.
Was Parliament aware?
This project was approved at the time that I wasn't in Parliament. This is my first time in Parliament.
But for projects that you have been part of,
yes.
Is the House aware that there are some conditionalities that go with these
normally
loans?
The House is aware through the committee.
Right.
But then, if you see the way Parliament works, by the time the document comes to the floor, it's almost just about 5-10 minutes before the approval.
So apart from the committee, will not reject it. That is what you want to say.
No, the House will not. The total House will not have the opportunity to scrutinize it as well as we must, or we probably want. So normally we follow on the committee's report. So if at the committee level somebody doesn't pick it up, then it goes through. That is what happens in Parliament.
George, you have expertise in project management. Is this prudent? A loan given you, consultants have to be come from this very person who gave you the loan. Is this prudent?
Let me correct this here. The IDA one was a loan. The AFD was a loan. But the Netherlands component was a grant. So they define how they intend to manage that part. So we will blame Parliament and we wouldn't blame anybody because it was a grant that I'm ready to take the institutional strengthening component. I have so much money, but I want experts from my end to come and manage this percentage of it, and we needed it.
I want your personal opinion. Is this prudent?
Yes and no.
Yes, because...
Yes, in the sense that we don't have the means, we don't have the money, and we have the problem. And so we need a solution.
No, because?
No, because it is not a prudent decision just to allow somebody to come and take your money away just like that. So I think that is...
We've got to leave it here. Thank you so much for joining me. George Osei is a project engineer of the second urban environmental project and with the project unit of the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development. And Honorable Kingsley Abuaji Jedu is a member of Parliament for Bibiani Anwiaso Bekwai and a member of the Public Accounts Committee of the House. We're back with the second segment. Stay right there. I'm coming back. right, the beginning of a new, fresh week. And this is a segment that is always talking about you and talking about us. So it's an interactive one. And Marian has just joined me. Thanks so much for coming.
Thank you too for having me. How are you?
I'm great. Monday, starting very, very good. And the excitement is there. The energy is also there.
Yeah, but you look handsome today. Did you go to the barber over the weekend?
Exactly, over the weekend I did just that, and that is making me look good. But
yeah,
what is trending today?
You know, from Friday going into Saturday and Sunday, the football team selection and everything in lieu of the match for the 15th, people were talking about it, and today is still trending on social media.
Ghana is in some kind of anxiety. We're told Kevin is wounded again.
Exactly, but what people are talking about more is Richard Olele Kingston. You know, and I think I'll keep the juice.
Is he coming to play?
He is coming to play.
If I get to see Kwesi Appiah, the big question I'll ask is he coming to play or he's coming to sit down for Fatah to keep the post?
But I am sure that
if he's coming to sit down,
his return
then he should just stay up.
He has come and play. Ideally, he's come to play, but I'm sure he won't come and sit down and be a spectator. He would hope to get some action.
Right. So let's hear what the people are talking about the Black Stars. Welcome.
Thank you. Welcome to JN Interactive. My name is Marian Toure. Welcome back to JN Interactive, and if you're just joining us, I'd like to announce all the social media tools that you need to get in touch with us. If you're on Facebook, it's facebook.com/journeysOnTV. Like our page, comment on all the posts we put there, and we'll share them with the rest of the world. If you're on Twitter, we tweet at JoyNewsOnTV. And please remember to use the hashtag JNInteractiveGH so that it will be easier to sort everything out for you and then take all the comments at once in a go. I am on Twitter, by the way, and I tweet at MN2Ray. If you're sending us an email, the email to send it to would be joynewsim@mototvworld.com. We are on WhatsApp too, and our WhatsApp number to send all your videos to will be 0544 334 722. And JN Interactive is where tech meets news to set the agenda. So we are talking about what is trending online at this particular moment. So, you know, Olele has been, you know, his call back to the national team has been widely criticized by so many people, and especially the coaches around the world. You and myself, we are, you know, the 20 million Ghanaian coaches who are talking about it, who are criticizing it, who are you know, fueling the debate about Olele. And our first match against the Egyptians will be on October 15th here in Ghana and at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium. So we've been speaking to some of you and then, you know, gauging your reaction. Olele is back. What do you think about it? We'll take our first video block. When we'll come back, I have someone in the studio to talk to us about all of this.
Olele coming back, it won't help us, seriously, because we saw him in Osei 2010. The goal shot, what's his name, Forlan scored against him. It was so bad. We don't need him. He can't even stand penalties. How much more, like, say, qualifying to the World Cup? We don't need him. Let's just go and sleep.
Oh, they only return to Blaster again. He have a quality and have experience also. That's what I can say for you. Olele will help us. Olele will help us. Concerned about the return.
Some people are saying that he's too old.
It's not too old. There are people who are older than him, but they stay on the national team for long.
So what about
that? We can consider him also as well. It's coming up, but this crucial match, Olele must be in the pool for us.
About Olele's return, I don't know what he's coming to add to the team, because basically in terms of goalkeeping, we don't have any problems. We have Kwarase, we have Fatah Dauda. So I don't know if he is coming to play as a striker. Maybe that one he can do something better, because basically he's too old for the team. And you know, as we said, he played with Abedi Pele. He's playing with his kids. I don't know whether he still wants to play with his grandchildren, because basically he's just too old for the team, and we need a young team. You know, his reflexes are really dead, and you know, I don't think it can help us. It will just be a very big disadvantage to the team. So I think we should just maintain Fatau Dada and maybe Kwarase will be a second goalkeeper. Okay, yeah, I think that's all.
He's good. Judging from the African Cup we just played, I think we should just maintain him, Fatau Dada, and just keep Kwarase as a sub for him. That's all.
So you've been sharing your views with us on that particular one, and we were asking the same question on our Facebook page our Facebook page right now. So I'm trying to mirror the iPad so that you will see what is happening and what everybody is talking about, so that I can share some of the comments with all of you. So the iPad will be mirroring in a minute so that we will talk about what you have been talking about on social media pertaining to that question. And we have been asking you for JN Interactive today what you think Olele's return means and whether you're happy about it. And so many of you have been commenting about it, and so I'll try. There have been, about 70 comments so far about it. I'll try and open just that part of it so that I'll project it for all of us to see what is coming. It says, oh, that's not it. This one is a different one. But I have Kwame Njomo here with us so that he would help us to talk about the issue. So as I try to mirror the iPad and then take some of your comments, he will join me so that we'll talk about the return of Olele to the team and what it all means. Welcome, Kwame. How are you?
I'm doing well, and you?
Fantastic. Thank you for joining me, by the way. And
thanks for having me.
I'm sure Ghanaians want to know Olele's return to the Black Stars. As a sports journalist, what are people talking about generally?
Well, for me, it wasn't surprising. I mean, I recall an interview the president of the Ghana Football Association granted my colleague Redwan Ibrahim-Asante before the squad was named. And, he posed a direct question as, to the JFA president as to whether it would make sense to recall the goalkeeper. And I recall what he said at the time was that if Olele was in good form, everyone could go to sleep because on the day he will put in the performance that we all would want to see. But the question everyone was asking after those comments were passed was, why Olele in the first place? I mean, a lot of Ghanaians haven't seen him since the World Cup in 2010. Why he's good for the senior national team after 3 years of inaction? He's just got a club in, Cyprus of all places. And even if you're playing week in, week out there, you're asking yourself about the level of competition in Cyprus. Is he good enough after 4 matches? Well, I'm not too sure what the national team selectors would have seen about these performances, but once they've given him a call-up, you would want to believe that they would have seen something we may not have seen.
But you see, even the Ghanaians who are getting action here, sometimes when you look at the quality of their play on the pitch, and you compare it to the Europa League, UEFA that we watch on TV, it lacks luster. And so if Olele is not getting too much action there, and then let's say we're juxtaposing what he gets there to what those here are getting, then can't we say they are on par and therefore we shouldn't criticize him?
Well, the thing doesn't have to do with whether our league has maybe the right goalkeepers, if you like, or whether the quality of players in our local league is good enough or otherwise. What we are looking at is a senior national team. As long as you're Ghanaian and you're good enough, you stand a chance of a call-up. But in 3 years, he's been nowhere close to the senior national team. Other goalkeepers have been given a chance. They've taken it. They've done very well. All of a sudden, the situation appears as if we have a goalkeeping crisis, so that we'd have to go beyond, the regulars that we know. In the last 2 years, we've used Kwarase, we've used Fatau Dauda, Razak Barima has gotten this chance, 1 or 2 other goalkeepers have gotten their chance. The worry is that for third choice goalkeepers, if you like, as and when they're given just one performance, like in the case of Razak, and things don't go well, he's chopped off. No one hears about him anymore. But the thing is, most of these matches that these so-called third-place goalkeepers get to play, we normally end up playing with second-string sides, so that the quality of the opposition vis-a-vis the players that we use in those games, like the game against Japan, if we had used our fair set of players, would have, been a tougher nut to crack by the Japanese, and I'm not sure would have conceded 3 goals. And if you're looking at Fatau and Kwarase has been in tremendous form for his club. The coach tells us, or he told us when he was being, appointed, that he was going to be looking at players on form. Fatau Dauda has moved to South Africa from Ashgold. He's barely had a looking at Orlando Pirates. And it showed in that game against Zambia. So someone will say, why don't you give the second choice, if you like, Kwasi, the opportunity? Or even if you want to consider Razak Brahma again. Then you go beyond these three and decide to call a player you've not had in post for 3 years. Why they've done that, for us, it's very hard to understand.
But you see, people were talking about it, and it's funny, but I want to put it to you. Olele was part of the original Abedi Pele squad. Okay, so now Abedi Pele has retired, and his kids have taken over now.
I know where you're going.
So Olele,
I know where you're going.
Olele is now playing with Abedi's children, if you can say that. Should we call Abedi and the rest back?
Well, let me just try and answer it in the best possible way I can. Okay, now in 1982, there was a certain Dino Zoff who led the Italian national team to the third World Cup. He was 40 and he was imposed. In 1990, there was a Peter Shilton who was goalkeeper of England. He was 41. They did a business. Dino Zoff led the Italians to the World Cup in 1982. Peter Shilton led England to a 4th place at the World Cup. I'm not too sure there were people who were looking at these goalkeepers and saying because you're 40 or you're 41, you're too old to man the post. At the end of the day, they did a job. A lot of goalkeepers that we find around today, especially the very quality ones, are 35, 36, 34. I could run them off my lips. Diego Lopez at Real Madrid, he's 31. Victor Valdez, he's 31. I could go.
So can I say like fine wine? They
exactly. Generally,
with time they
he's
become
35 going into 36. Christian Ebiati, he's 35 going into 36. They say when the goalkeepers are growing older, they get better. The thing about Olele played at the time when Abidi was playing and he playing with his children now and all that, for me, is neither here nor there. How old was Kingston when he was playing with Abidi? He was a tiny little
Just a
kid,
boy.
18, 19 years old. If he's even 40 now, what difference does it make? As long as he can get the job done, that's the most important thing.
Well, I'll take some comments and then we'll continue with this one. So many comments coming in, and the question was that does his recall have any effect on Ghana's chances of qualifying for the 2014 World Cup in Brazil? And Ofusu says big yes with his juju against the other keepers. I don't know about that. If there's any scientific way of proving juju, then perhaps I can take that in, but since there isn't, I don't think I would buy that. Ellie says, if we don't take time, this guy will follow the next 2 generations again. Is he immortal? Yeah, as long as he has the strength, and the force to do it, then why not? Zachariah Sofo says it is a good decision. Christian says, well, I think that it depends on what he is coming to add to the Ghanaian team. And Kwame, I'll come and talk to you about that very soon. Mutala says that his time has elapsed. I can't fathom why he is being called again. Can the young generation be given the chance to prove themselves? Boating says yes. So Ekuban says, yeah, I think it's much problem to the team, so the coach should be very careful. Mario Perez says, big no. Let's learn from Italy and the likes. Olele's inclusion brings experience on board. And I think that was what Kwame was echoing a few minutes ago. Bafo says, yes, he is better than Fatah Dauda. Baba Musa Tamale says, for me, the coach must allow Fatah Dauda in the goal posts. Norte Opata says he is too much. I like that. Mutaru Muhammad says he is very welcome until the bones are rotten. Of course, never say die. Never say die until the bones are rotten. So Olele is juicing it all. He's giving Ghana his all. Olele is a waste, period. Don says Olele proved himself to be a great man between the goalposts. If the coach and his technical team deem him fit to deliver, then so be it. In any case, I think he'll be great help. And so many of your comments are coming in. It just shows that we are a football nation as Ghanaians. There's no day that you won't contribute, and fantastic that you are commenting. So let's go to this. I hear some key players are injured.
Well, we are losing very important players, especially in defense. I mean, we're losing Harris Nafu to suspension. we're losing John Boy and Jonathan Mensah, our first choice centre, backs now, also to injury. As we speak, we're going to be losing the ladies' man, Kevin Prince-Boateng. He's not going to be available. He was injured over the weekend. So all these players are out for this game. It's a massive blow for us, but I'm sure within the 24-25-man squad that the manager has selected, he's going to be, hopefully get the right set of players from this squad to make up for the lost ones.
Thank you, Kwame. Thanks for coming and
thanks
for sharing the insights with us. Thank you so much. So Nana Bright will join me shortly so that we can wrap up. So I'll take some more of your comments whilst he does that. Faith Ebenezer says, Olele has the experience and can do what he deserves to help the Black Stars. Richard Bribi says, let's leave him alone. He is there to help us. Jermaine says, let's focus on the game and leave Olele alone. Ghana for Kasa. Yes, we Kasa, we talk. And that's what we do. We do it best. Northern Governor says, those two men are more powerful than the rest. Ayite Derek says, yes, and it will help make the other keepers work hard in order to gain a starting place into the team. Go Black Stars, go Olele, we are behind you. Nana Kwesi Amankwa says, the other goalie should also be given games even under pressure. Henry Kweku Abutu says, LOL, you're laughing out loud. 5 generations, bah. And yeah, well, 5 generations, but he is very strong, and so why not? Let's give him a chance to do the job. Emmanuel Clark. I don't think he is going to help this time around. He is old. He should give us a break. Jimmy Ejayajete, I'm really surprised of his call. Are we saying that those current keepers are not competent enough? I'd never be amazed if we lose by 4 goals to 0. Ooh, that is something. Amos says, Ghana, you don't talk too much. Why can't you let the old goalkeeper have his peace? We're letting him have his peace. We're just talking about it. We're talking about what is trending. Because you are talking about it, we are also talking about it. Sechiwa says, add Zayn, generation to generation. How you put it, so funny. Abedi to his children. Yes, he is passing on the mantle. And who knows, Olele's children might one day come and then, catch the balls for Ghana. Courage Johnson, it is a bogus decision taken by the coach. Victor says, negative effects. Roland Yabo, fine boy. Age is only a number. What is important now is he performing if he is up to the task. Why not give him the chance to prove himself worthy? And I am sure that is what our coach is doing at this very moment. Steven says, but this man not old enough to retire. Why all this? Randolph Boama, yes, it's better to put Olele in post than all the goalkeepers. Musa Abdul Fattah, it will affect the Black Stars. Papa, and there's so many comments coming in. Thank you so much for all your comments. I value you and I cherish every minute that you spend here with us. Thank you. And there are 47,212 people talking about us at this particular moment. Fantastic. And Nana Bright joins me so that we can wrap up for the day.
The Black Stars and Egypt.
And Olele.
And Olele.
Yes.
Right. It's going to be a fantastic match. I expect the Black Stars to win. Egypt is a stronger team, but the Black Stars
But you see, if he is put in post, he has to do something to vindicate himself. A lot of people are talking about him for and the against, so he has to win the others. And so I'm hoping that at least he gives us something good.
That is if he gets fielded.
We're hoping so.
I prefer to have Fattah in the post. Right, thank you so much for staying there for us. My name is Bright Nanamfo.
And as always, my name is Marian Ture. Have a good evening.